Savini. I created Jason, Leatherface, lots of special effects for lots of movies. Well, there's just not one thought about horror fans, because every single one of them is different. You've got lawyers and doctors and kids, they just come from all over the place, so I'm glad they're there.
Hi, I'm Scott Reiniger. I played Roger in the original Dawn of the Dead. This man who came up to me, he was 40, maybe 45 years old, very clean cut, looked like he was in the Midwest. He had a 10-year-old son with him in a plaid shirt, jeans. He came up and he said, you changed my life. And I went, what? He said, no, seriously, you changed my life. He says, when I saw Dawn of the Dead, I knew that I wanted to go into police work because of you. I said, really? He said, no, I'm deadly serious. It surprises me because you don't know sometimes the impact that you can have on someone without realizing it,
Actually, I'm built for horror films. I'm built for sci-fi, definitely, because I'm a tall, skinny. I'm 6'3" and weigh 140. So I wear makeups and costumes really well, and I move well. So so it's like horror films love me, I guess, and I like romantic comedies.
There's a broad type of fan in every category. The way they dress is different. The horror shows, there's more of the goths and that kind of scene, but in actual just people, they all seem to be the same to me, and my experience has been very good with them.
Most horror fans are pretty cool, I've found. They're not weird, like really weird and uncomfortable. Like, I hate to keep stepping on the poor Star Trek fans, but they can be very quirky and socially awkward and stuff.
I think I would rather deal with horror fans any day than a lot of the other fans. You don't get the fans coming through going, oh, what do you think the horsepower of the engines on the Enterprise are? And like, who cares? We're really genre specific in the store. That's why we're the only all horror book and gift store in the United States. I don't know about the other countries, but certainly here. A lot of my clientele, a lot of my female clientele especially, are drawn to the vampire thing because there's an eroticism there. There's nothing very erotic about a moldy old mummy.
It's a tenuous but interesting connection between horror and porn. Because horror, they're set up the same way a lot of the times. Your just sort of average horror movie is always has this sort of setup, and then there's always a money shot, especially with slasher films, right? You set up these, beautiful girls are being stalked by this killer, and there's tension, and it's building, and then there's a release, and then you're waiting for this awesome gore scene, and in a lot of ways that's very valueless, and it's similar to the porn film because they really are. They kind of mirror each other in the way that they're presented to people.
Star Frankenhooker, Deranged, Fright House Fantasy, Bad Girls Dormitory, Robot Holocaust, 35 films.
She's gonna blow! Talking cars!
Isn't it awfully hot in here? So you go from doing, playing a nun and getting an Emmy nomination for playing a nun, from hookers to nuns, to a children's series and an Emmy nomination, and back to thrillers, and you go back to what you love to do.
It's not a case of like pornography where women are they're unfortunate and they're sort of forced to doing this kind of job. Most women in horror films want to be there.
Often in the genre, it's the women who are the victims, and some pretty horrible things are done to them. And if they're not bimbos, then they're just sort of anonymous victims that get killed off one after another.
I think females dominate it. I think the tits and ass dominate the field. You got the tickets. You got the work. They want to see that. They want to see that. They want to see you topless in the shower. They want to see this topless girl get killed by somebody. They want to see the TNA. We have it. The guys don't.
Female horror fans, I think they're all out there. I think it's not as readily acceptable as like with guys, but it's, I think as time's been going by, I think it's becoming, you see more and more of it.
What do you like? What kind do you like?
I'm a big Fulci fan. I like the real gory ones, but the ones that were done in fun. Like nowadays it can get a little too bitter and
Yeah.
violence, but in
If you're a woman and you watch romantic comedies or melodrama, I mean, you're not doing much better. It's, you know, it's not a good genre for women in romantic comedies. So for me, I much prefer horror and the women in horror.
We decided to get married on Halloween because we just couldn't think of any better date. Like, Halloween's like Christmas for us. I mean, we didn't go over the top. We weren't dripping with blood or having, you know, pus flying out of our heads or anything like that. It was just, I had simple little horns, and she had made her own dress, and it was done up really nice. And once people got past the idea that, you know, marriage, which is supposed to be this special, pristine day, was on Halloween where everyone was dressing up crazy, I think everyone had a really good time with it because you could relax.
Horror fans? You might as well ask me, what do I think of myself?
I think horror fans are great. I'm one of them too, so I'm just like any other fan out there.
I'm a massive horror fanatic. On top of that, I'm a filmmaker. By day, I work at Blockbuster Video.
They're not just fans. In the horror community, they end up becoming filmmakers. And I defy you to find one modern horror filmmaker who isn't a fan, who isn't a fan of the genre.
I think horror will always be around, and I don't think fans kind of die out. You know, their love of something doesn't stop, you know.
As long as a good story is around, then horror will be around.
Horror will always endure because there's a need to tell those kinds of stories, and there always will be a need to tell those kinds of stories. We have a lot of, as a species, humanity has a lot of dark, we have a lot of dark inside us, and that's never going to go away. It's part of the human condition, and so we'll always be looking to those dark places for good stories to tell.
That's it. That's a wrap.
It's a wrap?
It's a wrap.